One person eats almost anything and stays thin. Another gains weight incredibly easily. And for millions of people, that feels deeply unfair.
For years, obesity was explained with one simple sentence: just eat less and move more.
But modern science discovered something much more uncomfortable.
Yes, hunger, cravings, stress, sleep, brain chemistry, food environment, and genetics all influence body weight together.
So the real question is not whether genetics affects obesity. It absolutely does.
The real question is this: if biology influences obesity so strongly, how much control do you actually have?
But first, let's understand how we reached this situation where 43% adults are overweight. It's because human beings did not evolve inside supermarkets, food courts, or delivery apps.
For most of human history, getting enough food was a survival challenge. Some days there was plenty, some days there was almost nothing. And evolution shaped the brain around one major goal: survive long enough to reproduce successfully.
Your brain still carries ancient survival programming from that world, where high-calorie food was not junk food. It was survival gold.
That is why the brain evolved to notice calories quickly, crave energy-rich food strongly, and store extra fat whenever possible.
And this was not only prehistoric history. Even a few centuries ago, famines, failed crops, harsh winters, and food shortages regularly killed huge populations.
So bodies that stored energy efficiently had a survival advantage. Those genes survived generation after generation.
But then the environment changed extremely fast.
So the ancient survival systems are now trapped inside a modern world, overflowing with calories.
Yes, now food is everywhere. Gas stations sell desserts. Pharmacies sell chocolate. Airports smell like cinnamon rolls. Even scrolling social media became food exposure. Burgers, pizzas, milkshakes, snacks. Your attention is constantly being pulled toward food.
And modern food companies understand human cravings extremely well. Many processed foods are specifically designed to keep your brain wanting another bite. They combine sugar, fat, salt, texture, smell, and crunch in ways that strongly activate reward systems inside the brain.
Your biology was built for survival, not infinite access to hyper-rewarding food. But everyone lives inside the same food-rich world. Why do some people struggle much more than others?
Because biology is not identical across humans. Different brains respond differently to hunger, fullness, cravings, and food rewards. Scientists discovered this very clearly in twin studies. Identical twins share almost the same genetics, so researchers can compare how much genes and environment each influence body weight. These studies suggest obesity risk may be 40 to 70% inherited.
But people misunderstand that immediately. They hear genetic and assume their future is already fixed. But genes influence probability, not fate.
Many obesity-related genes affect appetite regulation inside the brain. They influence hunger, fullness, cravings, and reward sensitivity. One famous example is the FTO gene. Some people with certain FTO variants often feel less satisfied after eating.
So two people can eat the exact same meal and experience completely different fullness signals afterward.
One brain says, "I'm full." Another brain says, "Keep eating." And tiny differences repeated every day for years can become enormous over time.
And this is where obesity becomes much more personal and emotional for many people. Many overweight people describe something called food noise, and naturally thin people often do not understand this experience at all. Some people constantly think about snacks, desserts, meals, cravings, and eating throughout the day. That becomes mentally exhausting.
Some brains generate much stronger food reward signals. For a few people, hunger feels like a whisper. For others, it feels like a siren. Food thoughts become louder. Cravings become more frequent. Eating becomes harder to mentally ignore.
That does not mean someone is weak. It means their biology may be generating stronger motivational signals around food.
And they are fighting a much louder biological battle every single day.
And this also explains why weight loss feels so difficult for many people. Millions of people lose weight successfully, then slowly gain it back again. And that cycle makes many people feel like failures.
But your brain often treats rapid weight loss like danger, not success. Your biology thinks food availability may suddenly be dropping, so survival systems become more active. Hunger increases, cravings intensify, and metabolism may slow down to conserve energy.
So the body is trying to protect itself, not sabotage itself.
Your body does not care about beach season, it cares about survival. That is why sustainable habits usually work better long term than punishment based dieting.
And unfortunately, modern life adds another major problem on top of all this. Our life is exhausting, stress is constant, sleep is poor, and many people barely recover properly anymore. You've probably noticed cravings become much stronger during stressful periods.
Because stress hormones directly affect appetite and food reward systems inside the brain. Chronic stress increases cortisol, which increases cravings for sugary and high-calorie foods.
And poor sleep makes this even worse. Sleep deprivation disrupts leptin and ghrelin, the hormones helping regulate fullness and hunger.
And biology is even more flexible than most people realize. Scientists now study something called epigenetics. This means your environment can influence how some genes behave.
So genes are not always simple on and off switches permanently fixed at birth.
Sleep, stress, exercise, food, and long-term habits can all influence biological systems over time.
They do not magically erase genetics, but it means your biology is constantly responding to your environment too.
Modern obesity is deeply connected to genetics, stress, sleep, food environment, and brain biology all working together.
But despite all this biology, society still explains obesity in the simplest possible way. So if biology plays such a major role, what can people realistically do?
The goal is not fighting your biology with pure willpower every day. The goal is making the environment work better for your biology. Better sleep reduces hunger signals. Exercise improves how the body handles energy. Protein and fiber increase fullness. Stress reduction lowers emotional eating triggers.
So small habits may look small on the surface, but biologically they can have huge long-term effects.
And sustainable systems usually work better than extreme motivation. Because motivation disappears, but environments and habits can keep working quietly in the background.
Maybe the biggest misunderstanding about obesity is believing it is simply a lack of discipline.
Because some people are fighting a much louder biological battle than others.
And understanding that can remove years of shame.
But understanding biology should not make people hopeless.
Because genes are not a final sentence.
Human biology is constantly interacting with food, stress, sleep, movement, and environment.
Which means your future is influenced by biology, but not permanently trapped by it.
If you like this video, subscribe and tell us the next why question you want science to answer.